And so in order to improve my fitness age, I was told I should diet down to get to 133 pounds. If I could do that, my fitness age would be reduced by 7 years. And so is 133 pounds my ideal body weight? Of course not. Coach Greg, in today's video, how much should you weigh? It's a very popular question. People saying, hey, I'm 5'10", 5'6". What is my ideal weight? How much should I weigh? I weigh 200 pounds right now. How much weight do I have to lose? And so in today's video, we're going to be answering that question once and for all. And so to answer this question, we should first understand, where does this notion of an ideal weight even come from? Well, like 5 bazillion years ago, they created a chart known as a BMI scale. It's your body mass index, and all that means is a fancy word for how tall you are compared to how much you weigh. As you get taller, clearly, you're going to weigh more. And in case you think it's just insurance companies that use these notions, we see it in everyday life. For example, classic physique. Chris Bumstead, he's 6'1". He can weigh 240 pounds. That's his height compared to his weight. Coach Greg, 5'6". I can only weigh 185 pounds. That's a 55 pounds difference. And so in the bodybuilding world for classic physique, they decided at 6'1", the ideal weight is 240. And if you're a 5'6" hobbit or manlet like Coach Greg, well, it's 185. But what should your ideal weight be? Are you in fact a bodybuilder? What if you're a marathon runner? If you're 6'1" and 240 pounds, you think you're ever going to win a marathon? Of course not. It's too heavy. What if you're a bike racer in the Tour de France? You're 5'6", 189.6 pounds like I was this morning. Is that your ideal weight? Of course not. Do you think anyone's keeping up in the Tour de France who weighs as much as I do? And so your ideal weight surely depends on what are your goals here on this earth. But let's now get into the problems of trying to say a specific weight for a specific height, because all bodies are different. No two people, even if you're the same exact height, are exactly the same. For example, if you're very tall because you have a very long tibia, the bone down here, if you have a long tibia, it's not going to add in a lot of weight. Think of it. How much weight is on your tibia, your calf muscle? Not a lot. In comparison, your quads or your upper body, there's a lot more weight around here than there is around your ankles. And so if you have a very long tibia in comparison to someone else, you're more likely going to be a lot lighter in comparison to them, despite perhaps having the same exact amount of body fat and or muscle. Next, you have wide or narrow shoulders. Think of it. If I had very narrow shoulders, this wide, and my torso was here, would I come even close to weighing what I do now? Of course not. I might have a lot of muscle and have low body fat percentage, but my weight is going to be far lighter. And so to arbitrarily say, oh, you're 5'6", your ideal weight is X, it makes no sense, yet BMI charts, insurance companies do it all the time. And so remember, depending on your somatotype, you cannot simply say that for X height, 5'6" as example, you need to weigh X amount of pounds. And so what other factors should we consider? Well, first off, body fat. Obviously. And so what is the ideal weight according to health reference standards in order to live the longest for myself, 5'6"? Well, according to the BMI chart, it's anywhere from 120 pounds to 150 pounds. And so in order to improve my fitness age, I was told I should diet down to get to 133 pounds. If I could do that, my fitness age would be reduced by 7 years. And so is 133 pounds my ideal body weight? Of course not. But why not, Coach Greg? It says you'll live 7 years longer. Really? You really think somebody can predict that? That's about as ridiculous as thinking that Gary Brecka can determine when you're going to die to the month.
We could tell the insurance company how long you had to live to the month.
But the charts say if you're 133 pounds, you're going to live the longest, that you'd have the greatest life expectancy. That's based on a chart based on a very large sample size, perhaps millions of people. But in reality, within those millions of people, some people are better off weighing more and some people are better off weighing less. And so for me, because I have wide shoulders and short tibias and I don't have a long neck, I have a lot of weight for my height, which is exactly why I have no chance of competing at the Mr. Olympia in men's classic physique. At 185 pounds, I simply can't carry the amount of muscle needed to be competitive. Have you seen me at 185 in comparison to Chris Bumstead at 240? Does it even look like we're in the same category? Chris looks far superior to me. Why? Well, with his frame, smaller waist, longer tibias, longer neck, he's a lot taller. And so he's given the opportunity to be much heavier. Imagine you're an inch and a half shorter, had shorter ankles, a little bit shorter neck. he'd have to weigh only 220. He'd have to drop 20 pounds of muscle. Imagine how much smaller he would be. Yeah, he would still look amazing, but not nearly as impressive as he currently is. And so if you're in a sport like bodybuilding, clearly you're going to have a lot more muscle and a lot less body fat. And so if you're a bodybuilder, it makes no sense to look at the BMI charts and say, that's how much I should weigh. But if your sport relies on cardio, you're an endurance athlete. Perhaps you do marathons, Ironmans, and so on. If you look at the BMI chart, your weight possibly could be on the lower end. At 5'6", 133 pounds, you might not even be lean. You might have fat to lose. Why? Because you have no muscle and you have a very small frame. Not only that, have you considered that the BMI chart is the same for men and women? Does that make sense? Men have way more muscle than women. And so at the same height, do you really think a man should weigh the same as a female? Well, maybe. Some women have larger bones. Some have lots of muscle. And so sometimes a female at the same height as a male should weigh more. But that's sometimes. And so it depends. So you can't just look at the chart, look at the range, 120, 150, and say, yeah, I have to diet down to that. Or I have to gain weight to get up to that point. And consider this. Is your ideal weight whatever weight allows you to live the longest? Well, it depends. If you're Brian Johnson, not talking about the Liver King, the other guy, his goal to live as long as humanly possible. That gives him the most joy here on this earth. And so for him, every pound matters. He does the exact same routine every single day. He wants to optimize his longevity, the time here on this earth. And so for him, it's 5% body fat, eating 500 calories a day less than he should be. And so for him, that works. It's ideal. But for me, it would be a living nightmare. How many of you would want to starve yourself every single day for the rest of your life? To have 5% body fat, to be constantly starving. What if you're a firefighter? You're 5'6", says you should be 133 pounds. You go into a fire, man's lying on the floor, 300 pounds. You can't lift him out. Would you not prefer if that guy were perhaps 200 pounds? A lot of muscle and fat, sure, whatever. But they were strong. Would you care if that person was ripped, had a six-pack? Of course not. All you care about is, can you save me? I don't care if that person's a male, a female, a circle. It doesn't matter. What matters is, can they drag my ass out of that fire? Another factor, how much cardio are you doing? Did you know that if you do a lot of cardio, it lowers your genetic set point for body fat? Doing a lot of exercise, in particular cardiovascular work, it causes the body to want to store less body fat. Decreases hunger signaling to the point that rather than perhaps you're weighing 200 pounds, you're doing a lot of cardio now, you only want to weigh 180 pounds. And so perhaps you're a couch potato and you weigh 200 pounds. You take up exercise, you become an endurance cyclist. Perhaps now your body wants you to weigh 160 pounds. Why? Because you have decrease in hunger signaling. It's as if the body knows. I know you're going to get up on that bike and ride 5 hours today. And so if you're lighter, it's going to be that much easier. And so your natural genetic set point, it's going to go down. And so if you're 200 pounds and inactive and somebody says, what is my ideal body weight? And they say, oh, probably about 180. Well, is it really? That's in this state right now. You perhaps could lose 20 pounds and not be starving. It wouldn't hurt your quality of life. But if you try to go down to 160, you might be starving all the time, have brain fog, lower testosterone levels. And so that's not good. And so just because you're 40 pounds overweight, it doesn't mean you have 40 pounds to lose. You have to consider, what will my quality of life be if I actually get to that weight? And so it's not just about the weight that allows you to live the longest, it's the one that allows you to have the happiest and best life possible. And so if you do all the cardio and you can naturally get down to 160, well then that is your ideal weight. And remember, VO2 max, not muscle mass, the number one predictor of longevity. And so the activities that you do, if it can improve your cardio, allow you to have a lower set point, lower body fat percentage, then that is going to help you to live longer. And so the number one supplement to help you to get to your ideal weight, and not only that, to improve your VO2 max, to make you better at cardio, live the longest life possible, GO2 max. The main ingredient in this, NMN, been shown in double-blind, placebo-controlled human studies to make a significant improvement in your cardiovascular ability. Walking test scores improved by 50%. That is a lot. A significant difference in comparison to the control group. And so you simply take this, you're not even instructed to exercise, just go about your day. Just live your life. One group way better at cardio than the other. This was discussed by Andrew Huberman and others on the Joe Rogan podcast, saying this supplement gives a ton of energy. Joe Rogan stated, "I am stocking up NMN, amazing." And remember, NMN, it's not some scary drug. It's kind of like creatine. It's found naturally in food. NMN is the precursor to NAD+ levels, which in fact decline as you get older, and so with more NAD+, you can produce more energy. Also, there are no known negative side effects. But the FDA cramping down on the M&Ms. The NMN, they've banned it for sale on Amazon, but you can still get on my website. Code Greg, 10% off, stock up now, buy in bulk, and save. And so what should your ideal weight be? The weight at which you can have the best quality and quantity of life. And that is dependent based on your body type, your choice of career, your activity levels, and what you want to do here on this earth. Don't let some stupid chart tell you exactly what you need to weigh. You decide. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Like the video if you liked it. Please watch one of the bloops, and of course, the cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle Diet book, my life's work, how to lose weight and keep it off, as well as the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. And of course, we've given over 50,000 free diet and training programs. Please head over to my website, whether you have money or not. Head over there right now. Code Greg, 10% off. Follow me on the gram, Greg Doucette IP Pro. And until next time, I am out.